Now at 10 and streaming on Crossroads.com, a Victoria County woman is arrested on warrants for her role in a deadly crash.
An early morning fire leads to an investigation and arrest in Seadrift.
And a Victoria woman goes to court over a $1,200 bill for helping stray dogs, the legal trap many can face.
We've got high pressure on top of us. That's going to give us some very nice sunshine. Unfortunately, it's going to be making it a little bit warmer as we head into the week. We'll be talking more about that coming up in a moment.
And East Bernard and Tidehaven fight for the district title this Friday night. We'll highlight this game later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Don Brubaker. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is looking for information on a burglary over the weekend. The department posted these images to social media today, showing a vehicle and a person wearing a hood and black face mask. He is a person of interest in a burglary in the early hours on Saturday at the James Food Mart in Lolita. Jackson County residents can report anonymous tips to the department by calling 361-782-3371.
The Seadrift Police Department is investigating an early morning fire on Sergeant Rodney Taylor Avenue near Orange Street. According to a social media post by the police department, one person has been arrested in connection to the fire. An eyewitness tells us they saw someone throw something lit at the building seconds before it went up in flames. Then they say the person took off. We have reached out to the police chief for additional details and are waiting to hear back.
A Victoria County woman is arrested on 2 manslaughter warrants. Sunday night, Victoria police officers, with the help from the U.S. Marshals and Victoria County Sheriff's deputies, arrested 18-year-old Alexandra Vargas at a home on Wood Duck Court. Officials say the warrants are related to a chase back in June that ended in a crash at Hanselman Road and Julia Street. The crash killed 18-year-old Aiden Hewer and another 17-year-old passenger. Police say Vargas was driving the vehicle.
If you see news happening, give us a call in our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. We now know the results of a case involving a woman fined for not vaccinating a group of dogs, despite her claims that the dogs weren't hers.
25 News Now reporter Trent Whiting joined us to give us updates on the case. And Trent, you have details on a state law that could affect Victoria residents?
Yes, Don, Shawna, over the weekend I spoke with Leslie Kosrick, who was facing a bill of over $1,200 for failing to vaccinate a group of 4 dogs that Victoria County Animal Services says were hers. While 3 of those citations were dropped at court today, Kosrick still faces steep penalties because of a state law that could impact many Victoria residents, some of whom may think they're doing the right thing.
And yours is...
Victoria residents may need to think twice before feeding the neighborhood stray. It might be yours on the side of the law.
It doesn't matter how you got the animal, whether you found it on the road or you bought it from a breeder. If we get there and you've been harboring it, caring for it, feeding it, all that stuff, then the state says it's your dog.
In the Texas Health and Safety Code, owner is defined as a person who owns, harbors, or has custody of an animal, and frequent visitors may also count.
If they take it home and feed it for 2-3 weeks, 5 months, pretty soon, you know, if you're feeding them more often than the owner who's letting them run loose, they're going to just end up staying at your house.
Leslie Kosrick saw this law in action. Facing a $1,200 bill for failing to vaccinate dogs VCAS says were hers due to the state's definition.
I feel very overwhelmed and upset because they weren't my dogs, but I would advise people here in the neighborhood, in Victoria, Texas, wherever, to not feed a dog because by law, if you feed a dog, it's considered yours, and that's something I wasn't aware of.
At Leslie's court hearing Monday, the judge dismissed 3 of her 4 citations. She still faces a fine of over $200 or 34 hours in community service.
And I don't want to go through it again. It really upsets me. I was just trying to do a good thing.
VCAS commented on the roaming dog situation over the weekend, saying most of these dogs, quote, belong to somebody, and Good Samaritans should focus more energy on returning these dogs to their owners than feeding them.
Quite often it's well-intentioned people. Loose roaming dog that's not causing any harm has always been a low priority. And what I'm trying to figure out is, what if we made it a higher priority and we actually intervene quicker? Can we get animals home?
Sloat says if you have to care for a roaming dog temporarily, call or email VCAS right away, even if they aren't open. He says they'll put the dog in their records and list you as a foster until they can pick up the dog. Helping dog lovers help dogs without the risk of hefty fines. Dawn, Shawna.
All right, thank you, Trenton. Time to check now on our weather. We've had some really nice weather, but it starts off chilly in the morning and, of course, ends chilly once the sun goes down.
I don't mind chilly in the morning. It is fall, and it's now after Halloween. So we kind of expect that, right?
Yeah, and you know the thing is, October is beautiful weather for about 3 weeks. And then it's over. Then it's either too cold or too hot, so we can't figure out which way we're going. So enjoy the sunny skies that we have. But as we get more, just see all day sunshine for the next few days, we're also going to start warming up to the mid 80s. Now, this little front up here to the north, that's not going to do much for us. But out there on the west coast, big Pacific storms are beginning to move. And one of those, I believe, will be visiting us by the time we get to this weekend. Will it give us a cool down? We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment.
I call it layering season. You have to wear something you can take off when by midday, and then a jacket that you can put back on in the evenings.
That can be fun unless you lose one of your layers. Like, where did I leave that jacket?
True. All right. Well, while local residents wait to find out when they'll receive their SNAP benefits, they're turning to other ways to put food on the table.
25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with Captain Kenny of the Salvation Army of Victoria, and Ray will tell us what they are doing to help the people in need.
The government shutdown isn't just affecting federal agencies, it's leaving many hungry in the crossroads. Captain Kenny Jones of the Salvation Army says the attendance in their kitchen has risen since people's benefits have been cut. Jones says he plans ahead, making sure that he's able to give assistance to people in more ways than one.
If we reach out to our neighbors, our donors, they're going to come forward and help out. So it's never a question in my mind, because I always rely on my faith that God will provide. We just have to be on our hands, on our toes, and keep our hands busy during this time and work a little harder than we normally would.
Jones is working with hospitals in Victoria to host food drives so that he's able to keep providing food.
This shutdown and things like that tend to, kind of move our direction a little, but it's not going to stop us from what we do. The most important things we do is we feed, house, and we clothe those that are in need.
Jones is remaining steadfast and not turning people away, and is prepared to serve the community of Victoria for as long as he needs to.
Tomorrow is Election Day, and there's a lot on the ballot. Voters will decide on 17 state constitutional amendments, plus local propositions, including civil service and collective bargaining for Victoria firefighters. In Bloomington, there's a sales tax measure, and in Yoakum and Hallettsville school districts, voters will decide on a tax rate increase. Polls are open 7 to 7. You can find a map of polling locations at crossroadstoday.com. We'll also have complete results coverage tomorrow night.
Rockport is warning residents over fraudulent invoices. The city says these fakes may request payments for construction projects or other city-related items. Rockport says these fake documents display a city seal, but there are other details that indicate they are not official. Residents are asked to not respond or send payment, delete any fraudulent messages, and to change passwords. Invoices can be verified by calling the City of Rockport at 361-729-2213. To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Toys for Tots registration is now open. Families in need can sign up through December 12th to receive toys for the holiday season. For dates, times, and locations, come to crossroadstoday.com. And if you know a family who could use a little extra help this Christmas, share the news so organizers can make sure that every child experiences the joy of Christmas morning. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, a bipartisan proposal to end the government shutdown emerges, but the question is, will party leaders support it?
Also ahead, 2 suspects appear in court for a reported Halloween terror plot. The charges next.
A powerful story of brotherhood and strength lives on beyond the game. One player's legacy is inspiring a new season and a new generation.
Walks around the hallway, goes up and down 2 flights of stairs, runs up the stairs, and they're like, whoa, 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 take it easy, you know? But that's not him. That's not who he was. He was gonna push himself.
Don't miss Legacy of Courage with weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson. A 25 News Now Extra, Thursday night at 10.
Tomorrow marks day 35 of the government shutdown, tying it for the longest shutdown in American history.
This as millions of Americans have missed benefits and paychecks. ABC's Melissa Adon reports airports across the country are dealing with delays.
The government shutdown now in its 2nd month and heading toward an all-time record, 35 days during President Trump's first term. The stalemate impacting tens of millions of families relying on SNAP food benefits.
It has been days where the kids eat and I'll just survive off water.
Simone Wilkes is one of the roughly 42 million Americans relying on the critical federal food assistance that ran out over the weekend. Under an order from a federal judge, the Trump administration saying it will tap all $4 billion remaining in SNAP's emergency funds to cover roughly half of the food program for November, but warning it would take a few weeks or even several months to pay out. Across the country, more families turning to food pantries. In Houston, airport officials warning of the 3rd day of long TSA lines. Officials at George Bush Intercontinental Airport say travelers should expect TSA wait lines of over an hour. This as the stalemate in Capitol Hill continues. Democrats urging Republicans to come to the table on health insurance as premiums are set to skyrocket for millions of Americans. ABC's Jay O'Brien questioning House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
Wouldn't the easiest way to fund SNAP just be for Democrats to vote to fund the government?
No, the easiest way to fund SNAP is for the administration to do exactly what is done in so many other instances. This is an intentional, vicious choice that Donald Trump and Republicans are making.
President Trump promising to negotiate on health care after the government reopens. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And in Washington, there may be a breakthrough in the government shutdown standoff, and it centers on the Affordable Care Act subsidies. A bipartisan group of 4 House members has released a statement of principles outlining a possible 2-year extension of those subsidies with new eligibility limits and guardrails. It's a sign that lawmakers from both parties are looking for common ground to end the shutdown, but it is still unclear if party leaders are on board just yet. New information today about an alleged ISIS-inspired terror plot that investigators believe was to be carried out over Halloween weekend in Michigan.
As ABC's Alex Stone reports, a complaint unsealed today details what the FBI found when the men were arrested.
These 2 men, seen here at a gun shop, are accused of plotting mass murder over Halloween weekend in Michigan. Court documents now unsealed say Mohamed Ali and Majed Mahmoud purchased a shotgun, an AR-15 style rifle, and multiple firearm accessories, including a forced reset trigger that allows a shooter to increase the rate of fire in a semi-automatic weapon. The men, along with 3 co-conspirators, allegedly practiced shooting at firing ranges. They were allegedly using the term Pumpkin Day to describe what prosecutors said was to be an attack that was inspired by ISIS. Those involved allegedly used encrypted communications and social media apps to share extremist and ISIS-related materials that encouraged attacks similar to what investigators believe they were plotting. In one communication, Ali allegedly messaging, "I talked to my brothers, we are going to do pumpkin." On Friday, with the attack allegedly imminent, the FBI launched a series of raids in the Dearborn area. Neighbors looked on.
This is very new and scary to me. It's like you're in a movie all of a sudden.
In the suspects' homes, prosecutors say guns were found along with ammunition, GoPro cameras, a flash suppressor, and tactical vests.
It's always here because we have a lot of relatives around the street.
Ali and Mahmoud are both U.S. citizens, according to a criminal complaint. Prosecutors say the investigation began after a co-conspirator returned to the U.S. and a U.S. customs agent searched that person's cell phone, apparently finding Google searches related to ISIS. Later, that person was allegedly connected to Ali and Mahmoud.
Both men appeared in court briefly today, a federal judge ordering that they are to remain in custody. They will have another hearing next Monday. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Starbucks says it plans to form a joint venture with investment firm Boyu Capital. The deal is valued at $4 billion. Starbucks says the partnership marks a milestone in the coffee giant's future in China. The agreement will give Boyu up to 60% interest in Starbucks retail operations in China. Starbucks will retain a 40% interest in the joint venture and will continue to own and license the Starbucks brand and intellectual property to the new entity. Dodger Blue took over downtown Los Angeles today as fans celebrated the team's second straight World Series title. Tens of thousands packed the streets, cheering as players waved from double-decker buses while blue and white confetti rained down. Fox Sports says that nearly 26 million people watched Game 7 of the World Series Saturday night as the Dodgers came from behind to beat the Blue Jays in 11 innings. It was the most watched World Series game since Game 7 of the World Series in 2017 when the Dodgers lost to the, who did they play then, Mac?
Houston?
Houston, yeah. Astros, yeah.
Thank you. Astros. Going, you know, they should have just gone sat at Dodger Stadium and just, yay, partied in the stands there. But yeah, the ticker tape parade is a tradition. Anyway, so congratulations. But you know, it was a great series, you got to admit. And my son's girlfriend is from Toronto, so she's like crying. It was so close. Anyway,
it was a good game.
Good evening, everybody. We're looking at 58 degrees right about there, nice and cool. That's what you like, right? It's about that time of the year. 80 was our high today, but we're going to start warming up. In fact, by the end of the week, we could be back to the upper 90s for just a couple days. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment. Well, you know, let's see, Friday, Saturday was spectacularly beautiful day. Sunday, we had that frontal system that brought in that little line of thunder showers, had a little hail around the area, but that is all gone. And now high pressure has settled in on top of us. And you're familiar with this because it's been happening to us pretty much all summer long. And what that means is that wall-to-wall sunshine, still air. Eventually, we're going to pick up a southeast wind, and that means slightly warmer temperatures for the next couple of days. But not to worry, it's not forever, and things will be changing. In the short term, these frontal systems up north are not moving in our direction, but in the long term, we've got some strong Pacific storms that are going to dig down deep. And what I mean is that they're going to be dropping down below San Francisco, bringing in a lot of rain and snow, and then eventually one of those is getting to our area, which will change the weather for next week. But this week we're going to be looking for warming weather. The winds tonight are almost still. By tomorrow they're going to start turning around back to the southeast, and as they do, that also helps warm us up. Maybe by Friday or Saturday we may have some morning fog, but not for tomorrow. Tomorrow should be just clear as a bell when you get up out the wind. The only problem is driving early in the morning with the sun in your eyes. It's kind of a drag, but the south wind will continue warming us up a little bit. Well, finally, it's not over officially. Well, I guess, no, it's not over. November 30th is the end of the tropical storm season, but there are no storms that are active right now. And of course, the Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas are really picking up the pieces after all that mess from Melissa. We take a look at the big picture because I want you to see that this is what I'm watching, okay? Now, while we're going to be doing fine for the next 3 days, but I want you to see how big those storms are getting out on the West Coast. This is a good sign because, as I mentioned, the storms from the Northwest are the ones that bring the heavy rain and the moisture. The ones that come straight out of the Arctic are generally drier and colder, but this one has the moisture that we need. And we go all the way to Wednesday. You can see lots of busyness out here, even digging down into Southern California. So that's just a good sign for me that in about 5 days, we're going to get probably this one moving into our area. Will it cool us down? Yes, it will. We'll show you that on the 7-day. Now tomorrow, pretty good looking day, looking for sunshine all day long. A little chilly in the morning, but then it'll warm up very nicely to about 78, 80 degrees. And then in Cuero, you're getting up to about 82. So yep, sunshine. And that's pretty much the story. You can see here on the 7-day with a slow warming trend getting us up into the upper 80s by Friday, Saturday. But here's our front. It's going to be on Sunday. Slight chance of a shower or two at this point. We'll have to update as we get closer. But then Monday, we should be dropping back down into the 70s as high temperatures as that front comes through. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And how about them Dodgers, Max?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously big time there for the Dodgers. Again, they got a big time win right there, Mac, over the weekend. But we ain't talking about the Dodgers, though, right now. We're talking about high school volleyball actions. We got 3 teams looking to fight for a playoff spot. I'll highlight all 3 of those games coming up next in sports. We've reached the final week of the regular season, and our Week 10 Game of the Week features the Bay City Blackcats taking on the Calhoun Sandcrabs. And Bay City enters at 7-2 overall and 3-1 in district. They're led by explosive playmakers in their quarterback Kamarian Wiggins and linebacker Jordan O'Neal. And Calhoun is also 3-1 in district and 5-4 overall. They're going to rely on versatile standout and Isaiah Cabrills, who has 13 total touchdowns this year. The kickoff will be at 7 p.m. at Sandcrab Stadium. And 3 Division II, Tidehaven and East Bernard face off for the district title, and both teams are 5-0 in district heading in. And Tidehaven will lean on quarterback Cale Russell and wide receiver Bookie Galvin, while East Bernard aims to control the clock and slow down the Tigers offense. And the kickoff is at 7:30 p.m. at Tiger Stadium. Now over to playoff volleyball. The Victoria West battled 39-8 Pflugerville East tonight, and West would lose in 4 sets. 35-19, 25-15. They'd win the third set 25-22, but then would lose the fourth set 25-15. The Warriors end their year at a 38-7 overall and still undefeated in district play. Congrats to them for still a great season, and their seniors Isabella Bazell, Emily Parker, who actually combined for 19 kills in the loss tonight. So congrats to Bazell, Griffin, and Kristen Luschner as well, again, for the great year that they've had and kind of helping this team go and make a deep run. Now Industrial faced Monte Vista Lions at Yoakum High School, and the Cobras would keep their season alive, winning in 3 sets, 25-19, 25-8, and 25-14. The Cobras will either face Santa Gertrudis or Vanguard Academy. That game will be played tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Over to Shiner, they face the Granger Lions. The Comanches won in 4 sets. They will face either the Junction Eagles or the Freer Buckaroos in the regional semifinals. Over to college basketball, where the Houston Cougars opened their season versus the Lehigh Warhawks, and they would win this one 75-57. Emmanuel Sharp led the way with 24 points, and coach Calvin Sampson will get his 800th career win. He became the 17th NCAA Division I coach to reach 800 wins and 4th active coach to achieve this milestone. Now joining Rick Barnes, John Calipari, and Bill Selfson. Congrats to the Houston Cougars. Going to be back in action versus Towson. That's going to be their Saturday at 2 p.m. And finally, we just saw the ending of the Dallas Cowboys facing the Arizona Cardinals for Monday Night Football. And the Cardinals quarterback Jacoby Brissett went 19 of 28, 2 touchdowns and 243 yards, while wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. also had a big day with 7 receptions for 96 yards. And the Cowboys have now fallen to 3-5-1. They're going to be off until 2 weeks from now when they play Monday Night Football again versus the Raiders on November 17th. They'll be at 7:15 p.m. and it'll be right here on KVU TV. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, Shawna, back to you.
Max, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 Views now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, a Florida Sheriff's Office gets an unusual new partner. Meet the furry crime fighter. He's tough, one way or the other.
Tonight, we're going to overtime.
When is this going to air? Oh, it's going to air tonight.
Now.
Okay.
It's airing right now.
Oh, it's called Live with Jimmy Kimmel.
The Martin County Sheriff's Office in Florida has a new and rather unique helper in search and recovery. Meet Splash, the nation's first search and recovery otter. The 2-year-old Asian small-clawed otter is specially trained in scent detection to help locate people in bodies of water. Trained by a member of Peace River Canine Search and Rescue, Splash brings some creative collaboration to tough recovery missions, proving even an otter can solve crimes.
Interesting.
Very
Never would have thought of.
Never would have thought.
never would have
And he's
thought.
got his own swimming trunk, so
Yes.
That's right.
he's
Save
ready.
money.
He's ready to go.
That's right.
Well, folks, I hope you don't mind the little bit of a warming trend we're going to have this week. We're going to get back up to the upper 90s for just a couple of days. And then by the time we get to the weekend, we get that little front on Sunday. Should have a few sprinkles with it, but at this point in time, we'll obviously, it's a few days out. We'll certainly update as we get closer, but that will get us back into the chilly 70s for early next week.
But still cool in the mornings and in the evenings.
Yeah. Yes.
So just when that sun's
Nice
out.
and crisp at night and in the mornings, but just daytimes are t-shirt weather. Like you said,
Getting a little
it's
bit warm.
layering. You start with a sweater, you toss that, and you toss
Yeah.
this. And
Keep
then
one
the
in your
kids-
car just in case.
And then the kids go, "Where's my jacket?"
There you go. Yes.
Well, speaking of cold, at 33 years old, Lambert, the African penguin, is feeling his age. His vision is fading, he's slowing down, and keeping up with younger penguins has gotten tough for him. So the New England Aquarium built him something special, a geriatric island. It's a safe, easy to navigate space where Lambert and 6 other senior penguins can waddle, swim, and relax without the chaos of the younger colony. It started as a staff joke, but turned into a model of care for aging animals, helping these endangered penguins live out their golden years in comfort and dignity. Great idea.
Very cool.